Again, welcome. Thank you so much for coming this evening. Thank you for taking some time out of your busy days to show up here at 6:30 at night. And I really appreciate the commitment that you've made. And I really appreciate the fact that you want to learn more, whatever that is. And if I can help you, then I'm so happy to. So I called this masterclass, the health and hormone masterclass, what women need to know about weight, energy, menopause, and aging well. Because this is where we're at. It doesn't really matter for 45 or, you know, two of my oldest clients this year were 82 and 3, I think. So it doesn't really matter where we are in our health journey. Um, a lot of us want to feel better. Maybe we have weight we want to lose. Maybe our energy is tanked. Maybe we're in the throes of menopause or thinking that it's coming around the corner and we're not feeling great. Maybe there's some excess weight around the middle. Maybe we're not sleeping good. Whatever that is, it's different for everyone. But the body is changing. And so I want to let me see. I didn't realize that I could do this. Yes. So I want to talk about what is what you can do, what you can do to shift gears because it's so important that you understand that you can do something. So what I want to do tonight is talk about some concepts about maybe why you're stuck and show you the framework that I use to help my clients navigate their way through whatever it is that's going on. Every person I work with has different goals. Sometimes it's weight, sometimes it's feeling better, and then maybe the bonus is weight coming off. Sometimes it's gaining weight and feeling better. But the average woman wants to feel better, wants to fit in their clothes better, wants to feel energetic, and wants to age well and continue to do the things they love. And that is something that I know women can achieve with the right guidance and support. So maybe this is you and I can't see you, but maybe you'll be nodding and agreeing as I talk. Are you fed up because nothing in your closet fits you anymore? I hear this all the time. I have all these new clothes and none of them fit, and I'm not buying new ones. I have to do something. Starting another diet every Monday. I was in that cycle for years. I was overweight for years and starting a new diet every Monday. Exhausted, moody, not sleeping well, don't feel like yourself anymore. That's a very common complaint, especially the fatigue. Trying to burn calories at the gym to justify eating more. This is a dieter's mindset. I did it myself, and I think that that's something that I hear a lot is, I just need to exercise more. It's I'll talk about why that doesn't work. Feeling like a failure because you can't stick to a plan long enough to see results. A lot of women can get make some momentum, get some momentum with what they're doing, but all of a sudden it falls apart, and there's a reason for that. And so we'll talk about that. Worried that you're too old and it's too late for you. This is a mindset that I'm definitely going to talk about tonight, and hopefully you'll see it differently. All of these things are not your fault. And if this is how you feel sometimes, maybe you literally do fall asleep at your computer, whether you work from home or work in an office or don't work at all and you're, scrolling Facebook. Maybe you do fall asleep because you're so tired and the caffeine isn't doing it anymore. It's not your fault. The thing is, you want to feel good. You want to wake up pain-free. So many women are struggling with pain. You want to feel good and rested when you get up in the morning. You want to fit into your clothes, or maybe you want to buy new ones because you're tired of the ones that you just don't want to wear anymore. You don't want to feel embarrassed about how you look. And, if you've gained a considerable amount of weight and you're uncomfortable, but instead you want to feel confident when you walk into a room and not hide when somebody gets their phone out and says, "We're taking some pictures." That does tend to happen. You want to feel energized and youthful and excited about getting back to doing the things you love. Or so many women our age, I'm going to say our age, they decide once they get to midlife, they're going to finally take that art class that they wanted to, or finally learn to golf. Or when I was turning 50, I started running. So whatever it is that you want to do, it's not a time when you have to stop doing things. It's actually the reverse. So just before I carry on, I mean, most of you that are here tonight know who I am in some way or another. You're either clients or we lived in the same compound and when I was living overseas and kind of interacted a lot, or you're new to me. But I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. And I went through two huge debilitating illnesses and got my life back through changing my lifestyle. And in the process, I lost over 40 pounds. And I was a constant dieter. I joined Weight Watchers in grade 11 with my dad, and many times after that. And finally, it clicked for me, and I just decided that I was not going to live the way I had been, and I was going to take the bull by the horns and get better. So I'm also happy to say that I won an award in 2022, and I've been nominated for another one from the school that I graduated from. It's a Lifetime Achievement Award, so I'm pretty pumped about that. And as you probably already know, I help women gain energy, balance their hormones, reach their ideal weight without starving, without counting calories, and without spending all day in the gym or in the kitchen. So that's a little bit about me. And getting back to how I used to feel and maybe how you feel sometimes. Frustrated and fed up with how things are going, with not feeling like yourself, and wondering what you can do about it. Wondering what you can do about it. Is there anything that you can do about it? Because this is the scary part. Some people think that there's nothing that can be done, that it's just the way it's going to be after menopause or even before menopause. But it's just not true. But it's understandable why we would think that because that's what we hear all around us. Oh, you'll see once you get old, or it all goes downhill after 50, or there's no option but drugs, or you're going to need serious intervention. It's not the case. Not the case at all. And so I say that success is based on you making one decision, just one decision. And that is to actually act, to get some help if you're struggling and repeating the same cycle over and over again and getting nowhere, to find out what is actually going to work for you because there are answers out there. And this is what I do for a living. I help women change their trajectory of their future by getting them to understand how they can achieve their goals, maybe why they haven't been able to. And then I support them and carry them through that process. So on the other end of that, you end up healthier and way happier because you feel good and you have energy and you can do what you've always wanted to do. You can try new things. You can travel. You can do whatever you want because you get up in the morning and you feel amazing. And that's available to everyone. I talk a lot about my clients, and I wanted to showcase two of them, and I'll do that throughout this session tonight because I think it's important that you see real people. And so I'll just share a little bit about Amanda and Paula as we go through because they've had great success. So I like to break this down into three simple core concepts. And this really does break down why the struggle is there. And it's simple, really, it is. It makes a lot of sense, and I hope that it will leave you with things to think about tonight. And maybe lots of questions, because once you see what I'm going to share, then you may say, "Oh, okay, I never thought of that." So let's just proceed. So, core concept number one, the real reason why the diets you've already tried aren't working for you. And most of the time, whether you want to lose weight, gain weight, feel better, it all points to diet, to what we're eating. So, there are people who are on a weight gain diet. I've had those clients before. So, I don't talk about it in a calorie deficit kind of a way, but sometimes it is that. But whatever eating plan, maybe is the better word, why it hasn't worked. So, the first thing is you keep trying the same thing over and over again. And if this is you, then once we try this a few times and it's not really working, um, one thing we should say is, okay, maybe that's not the thing I need to do. But what does happen when we start to do the same, when we repeat this cycle over and over again, and it's usually counting calories or points, that kind of approach, the Weight Watchers approach, or the Noom, or I'm not really sure. TOPS is another one. So what tends to happen here, we tend to start over again, maybe the dieter on Monday, start with the same plan over and over again. But what we tend to think is, okay, it's me. It's because I don't have the willpower. I don't have the right mindset. So I'm going to start again Monday and I'm going to have more willpower. But that's not what the problem is. The problem is the approach. It's not you. It's not that you are broken or have a lack of willpower. It's the approach that is failing you. It's very important for you to hear this. You are not failing. The approach is failing you. There's a big difference there. And we are so good at blaming ourselves. I can't do it. I have no willpower, but it's not the case. That diet, all of those diets really have been set up so that there's repeat clients in all of those businesses. When you think about these big weight loss businesses, they want repeat clients and they structure their offers to keep you joining every January. So you keep trying over and over again and thinking it's your fault, but it's not. Another thing that a dieter's mindset typically has is saving calories so you can eat more at a later time. I used to do this a lot, although I ate a lot all day long. But, I think, well, if I skip lunch, I can have that big bag of chips and not feel bad. So this way of eating, um, holding back and not eating makes you want to eat more, and it actually causes you to want to eat more junk food. In your mind, you think, oh yeah, I saved all those calories, 1,500, 2,000 calories. I can eat half a cheesecake and a big bag of chips. I used to do it all the time. And it made sense to me. The numbers made sense. So these are things that maybe you are seeing in yourself. Another thing that I hear when I talk to women about, they reach out, they want to chat about what's going on. They often will say, I just need to work harder at the gym. I just need to burn more calories. And so it's nothing to do with calories. Health has nothing to do with calories. Yes, they matter, but um, you can't out-exercise a bad diet. It's unless you're an elite athlete burning thousands of calories a day. But then again, even if it's a burger and fries, you're still doing some damage. So yes, maybe the calories can balance, but it's what you eat. It's not about the calories. The other thing that causes kind of like that Monday repeat, starting a diet every week is starving yourself all week, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, starting to think, oh my goodness, I need some food. And all of a sudden, Friday comes and you're worn out, exhausted, you haven't fed yourself well, and you give in and you say, well, it's Friday. I'm going to go out with the girls, going to have some food. I'm going to have some wine. Might as well just eat what I want on the weekend and then start again. Because you deserve it, because you worked hard, because you had 3 days of counting calories and maybe skipping some foods. And so these are things that are patterns that could be leading to not getting your goals met. This is not the way that we structure a really good eating plan for health. But these are habits that we have developed over time. And we think that if we can just burn more calories or starve ourselves a little bit or uh, oh, there's somebody else coming in here. I'll just let her in. Um, Save calories, just have more willpower that we'll be able to do it. And we keep trying. And all of a sudden, months go by, years go by, we're trying the same thing over and over. So to me, it makes sense that there's a new approach needed, of course. And we'll talk about that. The other thing is, I have a stressful life. I'm an emotional eater. I can't control my food when I get stressed. And I put down below here, a diet with key nutrients helps better manage stress. A lot of people don't know that food affects their mental health. If you label yourself as an emotional eater, you are an emotional eater. And so if you tell yourself that's who you are, it'll be very hard to break that. If you, though, get to the root cause of your emotional eating, because most women are not aware of the root cause of their emotional eating. They don't understand where it comes from. They don't see the triggers and they don't know how to navigate them because they don't see them. So, this is something I see a lot. And one of the things that I like to do in my program is try to get to the root of the emotional eating. One of the modules in my program is all about mindset. If we call ourselves an emotional eater, so me with my big bag of Lay's, the whole thing other than a couple for the dog, so I could say I didn't eat the whole bag. This is not a lie. Um, that was emotional eating. That's not hunger. I'm an emotional eater, you know? So once I understood where the emotional eating came from, why I did that, why I ate to soothe my emotions, then I was able to step back and say, oh, okay. So the triggers are XYZ. So once I knew the triggers and understood where the emotional eating came from, I learned how to navigate my way out of those triggers to say no to the big bag of chips or half the cheesecake. And actually, after Weight Watchers weigh-ins every Thursday night, I'd either have a nine-piece chicken and taters from KFC, or half a cheesecake from Tim Hortons, or a big bag of chips. That was me. So I had no idea about my emotions when I was trying to lose weight, and that's why it didn't work. So I just want to highlight Amanda. Amanda is came to me not really sure if I could help her or not, but she wanted help and she had been dieting for years and this completely changed her life. She's lost about 80 pounds. I'm not really sure these days. This was a couple of years ago. Um, I set her up with a system. She followed it. You can see in her testimonial here, never feels deprived, not hungry between meals, no cravings. And she says it almost feels like someone else is telling this story because I never thought that this would be me. And so this is what can happen when we shift gears and get support, understand about the old habits, and start implementing the new ones. So, core concept number two is the beliefs that are keeping you stuck. This is so important. If you have goals and you've been trying for a few months or a few years or maybe over a decade, undoubtedly there are some beliefs there that are keeping you stuck. And so, this is what really is a self-sabotage mindset. It's really rough, harsh to even say it, but it has to be said because we don't even know sometimes that we're doing it. Often we don't know. And I'll give you some examples. But before that, a self-sabotage mindset is a learned behavior or belief that keeps us from making progress, that keeps us stuck where we are. And, we can stay stuck in a situation for maybe a short time until we figure out what to do. But then if we stay stuck over and over and over and over, undoubtedly, there's behavior issues there that we have to uncover. And, beliefs about ourselves, about our situation. And those things are sometimes hard to see. So one thing that the first one that I wanted to talk about is I know what to do. I know how to do it. I know how to do it, what to do. I do it all the time. Unfortunately, if you have been trying to reach a goal, whether it's, feel better through menopause, sleep, lose weight, gain energy, if you've been trying for a few months, it's not working, then I'm challenging you that maybe you need to look at a new path, a new way. And the other part of that is most women have no idea how damaging some foods are for us women over 50. Most of us know that we need to eat better, but most of us don't know how damaging the food that we are eating is. My KFC, my chips, my cheesecake, a lot of people just see calories there. They don't think about what the food actually is. They think, oh, I'll just burn the calories. And it's not like that at all, especially once we get to menopause. The other belief that's very common, or it's a whole bunch in one sentence here, it's hereditary. Everyone in my family is my size or gains weight when they get older. Everyone on my mother's side, when they went through menopause, they got old fast, they got heavy, they developed arthritis, they all have heart disease. It's hereditary. There's nothing I can do. And if you read this bottom statement, and this is proven, there's several studies out there now. Only about 5% of our health issues are genetic. 95 are caused by our lifestyle choices. And age and menopause have nothing to do with poor health. It's our lifestyle choices. And some of you maybe here tonight would argue about hereditary or genetic connection. So if everyone in your family has a condition, it's generally because they all eat the same way, or they all don't exercise, or they all smoke, or they're all a certain way. If we are genetically inclined to be like them, it's only 5%. If it's 95% up to us to do something about it so we don't follow that path, that's the best news because we don't have to grow up. We grow up hearing this. It's a belief. Oh yeah, well everybody, once you get to be our age, you'll see, you won't be so slim anymore. All of the things we hear. And we grow up eating the way and having the lifestyles that our family typically has. So it's no wonder we end up with the same issues. And we are also told by the medical profession that high cholesterol runs in the family, high blood pressure runs in the family. Well, yeah, you're getting to be that age. Everybody on your dad's side has these problems, so it's no surprise. It's simply not true. There is something you can do about your genetic connection. And you may have heard of the term epigenetic. So, epigenetics is lifestyle, is how you choose to manage maybe that risk that you feel you have. So, when you're looking at 5%, if only 5% of the health issues you have are due to hereditary reasons or genetic reasons, you have 95% chance of fixing it. That's, like I said, the best news because it puts it on you that, oh my goodness, I can do something about this. So that's a super important thing to understand because if we have the mindset that there's nothing I can do, we're not going to do much. And we're going to probably end up in a self-sabotage situation because we truly believe we can't do it. So, yeah, it's genetic and there's really nothing I can do. I've tried before. That's the self-sabotage coming in. A few others here. It's too hard to change. I travel, I'm social, I don't like vegetables. Plus, my husband won't eat what I cook, and I'm not making two meals. That's a loaded statement, and I hear it a lot. My husband won't eat what I cook, and I'm not making two meals. Um, you know, what I hear there is that women are putting their husbands ahead of their own needs. And as women, we do that. As moms, we do that. As daughters, as sisters, as aunts, women are like that. We put everybody ahead of ourselves, even the goldfish. And So it's a choice. We can say it's too hard. We can say, I'm on the go all the time. I like to eat out. Um, all of these things to me are excuses. And there is a way to navigate your way through, especially the one of making two meals. It's so simple to not feel like you're cooking two meals all the time. And to be honest, a lot of women that I work with, their spouses are very glad that they're doing something health-wise because they want to eat better too. So it is a win-win a lot of the time. The other self-sabotaging belief is I deserve to treat myself. I'm not going to deprive myself of enjoying my life. So when you think that enjoying your life is eating all the garbage food that, that's usually what ends up happening. I'm going to go out, I'm going to have this. Somebody I was running with today said, tomorrow night is fish and chip night. I can't wait, you know? And once in a while, that's okay. But if it's all the time, because I deserve it, because I work so hard, because I never have time to myself, because I'm always taking care of everybody else, and then I have to go to work, and there's, I just need time for me and I deserve to treat myself. And somewhere along the way, those of us who struggle with our weight ended up connecting food to reward, to comfort for stress, perhaps, for, where did the emotional eating come from? To soothe, to comfort, maybe to squash a fear that was happening. And the other part of it is as we grow up, and if you're a grandmother right now, or you're a mom to some young kids, um, we grow up with the adults in our household rewarding us with food. If you eat all your dinner, you'll get dessert. Um, I remember falling off my bicycle and I had white tights on. I skinned my knee on the pavement. There was blood all over my white tights. I went inside. My mother gave me, bandaged it all up, cleaned it all up, and said, do you want a cookie? It'll make you feel better. So this is how we're brought up, feeling like food is a treat. We deserve it. It's a reward. And so this is a habit that is it's a self-sabotaging habit. Once we can see that we don't need to reward ourselves with food, things can drastically change in our life. Once we can see, and I put this at the bottom, eating well is actually treating yourself to good health. Eating well is actually the reward and the good health is the reward. And so it's completely opposite to the mindset of a lot of us. The reward is feeling good. And what does that, it doesn't mean you're going to live off of lettuce, because you certainly can eat a very good diet, a healthy diet, and be very happy and feel like a lot of those foods are treats. That's for sure. I love this statement and what a gorgeous picture. And I hear this, I heard this woman say one time, I couldn't live without my bread. And she was so serious when she said it. I just couldn't live without my bread. So one reason people resist change is because they focus on what they have to give up instead of what they have to gain. And what do you have to gain? And that is a life that's full of energy and vitality and experiences because you can move and you can breathe better and you can do the stairs and you can get into a kayak. That's what you have to gain. So when we think about it in those terms, what am I going to gain by changing my habits? And it's so rewarding. because all of a sudden you have energy for anything you want. So, core concept number three, what you need to do, and this is what I broke down what I did that changed everything for me. And so, as you can see, this talk is not about eat this much fiber, eat this much fat, eat this much protein. It's about making better choices for yourself. So, what I realize and what really needs to happen for anybody to have success, the women who enter my program, they have a belief that they're ready for this, that they're taking charge of their health. That's what I had to do. I had to have a belief in myself and in my ability to take charge of my health and my future health. And I knew that I could, that there was a better way. And so when you are there and ready, it makes things so much easier. I talked about limiting beliefs. And in order to have success, we have to understand why we make the choices that we do. We can say it's because my husband won't eat what I make and I'm not cooking two meals. Or we can say I deserve a treat because I worked hard today. We can use all of those reasons, but we have to dissect what that's all about. So for me, and for anybody who wants success, not temporary, but permanent, I had to address my limiting beliefs. I had to dig deep and see why I emotionally ate, where that came from, why I rewarded myself with food to the point of being so full from eating, from binging. I had to really look at that. I had to look at the reason I was unhealthy. What was that caused from? And why I became an emotional eater. Where did that stem from? And if you can figure that out, and that's what I help my clients do, then you can step back and assess that and make a plan together, you know, see where your triggers are and have kind of a toolkit for getting beyond that so that you start to navigate your way around all of those challenges that once before you could say, well, it's because I have junk food in the house for when the grandkids come over on the weekends. So, and then it's there and I eat it. These are the things that we have to get beyond those things. Those are not the reason that you've chosen the Skittles or the, chocolate chip cookies. They were there, but when we understand why we want them, then it makes it so much easier to figure out a better plan. I knew I needed somebody to support me. I knew I had tried Weight Watchers, I had tried all kinds of things. I had chronic fatigue syndrome. I couldn't figure out what was going on. The doctors basically slammed the door in my face. I was overweight and I needed help. And I got help. And that person identified what was wrong and helped me fix it. So, in the process of doing that, I had to learn how to eat. I had to get educated on what foods were going to help me, why they were going to help me, and why the foods that I was eating weren't my best friend. And try to find a balance. Maybe it's 80-20, maybe it's 90-10, maybe it's 100%. It's whatever you choose. Um, the the more you the better you eat and the better you sleep and the more the more you have regular exercise, the better you're going to feel. It's an easy equation. So this is what I needed to do. And really, this is where most people have to go through this process in order to have success. So this is Paula. And Paula, I met in Qatar. Maybe Crystal and Suzanne, you probably both know her. So once I was back in Canada, a few years after I left Qatar, Paula reached out and we worked together and she was ready. I remember one of the things she kept saying to me was, I made a deliberate choice and, that was so powerful for her. She made a deliberate choice to eat this instead of this. And then maybe if there was an outing, she made a deliberate choice to have something that maybe she wasn't going to have again for a couple of weeks. But she was very mindful of what she was choosing and eating with purpose. And, she says, for the first time in my life of yo-yo dieting, I'm on a realistic and sustainable path. So, real life examples of what people can do. So, I just want to go over, and it's 20 after 7. The real reason why what you've tried hasn't worked for you. And we talked about what that is. Um, Perhaps the wrong approach, repeating the same approach all the time, thinking it's you and your lack of willpower when it's not that at all. If you're repeating the same approach over and over, then it's the approach that's not working. And the beliefs around that are keeping you stuck, the dieter's mindset, the reward for good behavior type of mindset, um, the beliefs about food, about menopause, about aging, about genetics, and the power that those beliefs have can keep you stuck where you are. And that takes a shift in the way we think. And that, when we start to nourish, when we start to give our body food that has actual nutrients in it, our brain starts to function differently. First of all, that brain fog and that, lack of clarity go away almost instantly. And all of a sudden, we're getting nutrients from head to toe. And our brain starts to work at a higher level and it helps us through these challenges. And the missing piece for really lasting change, really, it's what I did, recognizing that you have the power, that you believe in yourself, figuring out what's needed and following through with a plan and really understanding nutrition. That's what's needed because once you do, you'll see how it all comes together. So most women want to lose weight without having to starve themselves or give up their favorite foods. And you can do that. Most women want a simpler way to organize their meals without spending all day in the kitchen. You could love to cook and want to spend all day in the kitchen, but if you hate cooking and want to buy all your food already made at Sobeys, that works too. Everybody's different. You want to stop feeling embarrassed about how you look and about not having the willpower to stay on track. And you want to be healthy so you can have more energy. Everybody wants more energy. They want to feel well when they wake up in the morning. And if you have goals, if you want to see your grandchildren grow up, you want to play with them on the floor, you want to travel, walk the Camino, whatever you want to do, it's yours if you really want it. So, how can you do it all? And I talked about that. Really, the actual plan is not as complicated as a person might think. If you're ready and you're willing to go all in, then this comes together very, very nicely. So, we have options. We can continue doing what we have been doing, choice A, trying over and over, and maybe one day it's going to work. I call that the hope and pray method because I lived it for way too long. And hoping and praying didn't work. And of course, the other option is to act on what you truly want because you can have it if you truly want it. And I can help you. I offer free, quick call that we can talk about your situation, what's going on, what you've tried, and I can give you some pointers and see how and help you set up a system that's going to work for you. So, like I said, this for someone who's been trying and trying and trying to get results, whether it's weight or just feeling better. I shouldn't say just feeling better. Maybe it's a body full of arthritis. Maybe it's like one of my clients who had her psoriasis from head to toe. Now she has nothing. Whatever it is that you've been trying to resolve, there is a simple path. And if you're ready to follow it and learn about nutrition, you can do it. You don't have to starve yourself. You don't have to count calories. You don't have to live in a state of deprivation, watching all the food go by you in a buffet or in a restaurant and thinking, oh, I can't have that. You don't have to live like that. And most people think it's impossible to do, but it's not. It's not. Yes, I think that everyone who's looking to shift like this needs guidance. I do. And that's why I do what I do, of course. But it's not impossible. Again, this call is free. There is no charge for it. I want to talk to women. If you feel like you want to have a chat with me about what is possible for you, then by all means, book a call. And I think I have, did I post the link? I will post the link. Yeah, I think, or maybe it's coming. So, I like to say this isn't for people who are not committed. If you're not 110% committed, this is not going to work. If you're looking for a quick fix, you want to drop 20 pounds in a month, and you want to fit into a dress by a certain time, and then, or go on a holiday. It's not really a plan for somebody who wants a quick fix. Nor is it a plan for somebody who expects perfection because life is not perfect. Progress is up and down. It's not linear. So there are ups and downs to all challenges in life. And so when it comes to changing our habits, it's about progress. And you have to be coachable. If you're not coachable and not willing to try a new way, not willing to step out of the box, step out of your comfort zone and learn something new, then this approach is not going to work for you. But if you're ready to focus on something that works, if you're coachable, if you're not a perfectionist, if you're tired of feeling like a failure, because so many of us are. I know I was so frustrated and depressed because I just could not do anything right until one day I said, I'm not living like this anymore. And that was when the light came on for me, and I was determined to figure it out. So you have to be ready. And it's for you if you're ready to live with vitality and age in a healthy way so that you can do the things you love. And again, it's not impossible, it's just different. And it takes stepping outside the box, assessing our habits, understanding ourselves, and then moving forward and shifting gears and changing all those old habits that we keep repeating all the time.